in the case of 31-year-old Parisha, James. I want to show you something, everyone. Now, this is a picture of my next guest, Parisha, and the man she says is her best friend, her dad, James. Here's the story. 3 weeks ago, Parisha and James's lives were turned upside down when, in a fit of anger, Parisha's mother, Doris, told Parisha that James, after all these years, was not her father. So today, both Parisha and James are praying that a paternity test will prove Mother Doris wrong. So let's talk to Parisha first, who's coming to us from Louisville, Kentucky. Parisha, take me to that moment 3 weeks ago. Your mom had an argument with you at Walmart, and you told your mom knew that you called your father. Then what did she do?
You always call your daddy. That ain't even your daddy. And that's how it came out.
And that's how it came out. So,
That's how it came out.
according to you, for the first time in your life, you were told that your father
No, Maury.
What?
That's not how.
That was the first time, Mama.
I texted her
I don't
because
recall that.
we had been bucking heads, and I told her in a text twice, and she overlooked it.
You have a close relationship with your dad, right, Parisha?
Yes, I do.
Right.
That's my best friend.
Even though he split from your mom when you were little.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. He's been there for me ever since I could remember.
And so every time you had a problem, you went to your father.
Every time. And it's all about jealousy, I think.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
No,
What do you
Because
Maury,
me and my
it's
dad, me and my dad got a close bond, and me and my mother, we don't have no type of bond, period.
Doris, are you jealous
Yes.
of the relationship between James and your daughter?
No, Maury, I'm not jealous of anyone. I don't have
Yes,
a
you are,
jealousy
Mama. Yes, you
bone.
are.
Well, and that's your opinion, Parisha. That's fine. But it's more to me as frustration, Maury. You know, frustration. Frustration.
On whose part?
Because I'm frustrated because I was there. I was the mother. You know, I was the one that had to do the discipline. I was the one that had to make sure that she was protected.
None of that matters now, Mama.
And,
None of that matters now.
It doesn't matter to you.
Your mother told you that it was another man who was your father, right?
Yes,
This other man, by the way, is now deceased. But you went to his family's home, right?
I popped up on them because my dad told me that I kind of favored them. So I went down there on my own to see if I really favor them. And when I got down there, they all told me that I looked like them and his daughter.
But you still believe that James is your dad?
I hope so. I hope. But I'm hoping for a negative test because I don't want to put my hopes up.
You think you're still going to treat James as your father?
Of course. He's going to always be there.
Why do you think your mom waited till now to tell you all this?
I think it was out of anger. And like I said, jealousy. But anger and jealousy.
Do you think you look like James at all?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I look like my sister, which is my daddy's daughter. That's my half-sister.
Now, how would you describe your relationship with your mother?
Well, I mean, it's rocky. I want it to get better. I really do, but it's rocky.
You want to tell your mom anything?
I just want to know, Mama, why'd you wait so long to, tell me this secret?
The reason I waited so long is because I was young. I was at that time trying to focus on what needed to be done. You know, at that particular time, James wasn't in your life. He wasn't around.
You didn't want to confuse that little girl because you were the person who were raising her, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's the time for everything.
All right.
And it wasn't the time.
All right.
I'm 31 now, Mama.
That's a point, too. All right.
You
Now,
should have did it at 18.
when we come back, guess who we have to hear from? James. And we're going to find out, of course, the result of the DNA test. So before the break, we met Parisha, who was devastated when just 3 weeks ago her mother Doris revealed to her that her dad James may not be her biological father after all. So we're moments away from the results of the DNA test, and we're also going to talk to James. But Doris, I want to ask you one other thing. Are you sure that this test is going to show that James is not the father?
No, I'm not. I'm only going by calculations. Parisha was conceived and I didn't know it. I was on birth control pill. I still had my monthly. And so I had become sick and thought I was a gallbladder issue. And I found out by surprise that I was pregnant. And so I asked the question, how far am I? And the doctor said, well, you're going to have an ultrasound to even determine. And so once I had the ultrasound, and they told me, well, you're about 4 months and pregnant. And I'm like, 4 months? And so, again, now I got to deal with what is going on in my life at this particular time.
Do you think that Parisha looks like James or the other man?
I think that Parisha looks like me.
All right.
Younger pictures of me.
Now it's time to meet James. And James is coming to us from Pee Wee Valley, Kentucky. So, James, that 31-year-old woman means a lot to you, doesn't she?
Yes, she does.
Did you have any idea that she might not be yours?
No, I know she was mine all along because, I got into Paris' life actually when she was 10 years old. Paris is me, and I know she's me, and I always had that thought in my mind, if she's not mine, she is mine.
Whether you're her biological father or not, she's your daughter.
She's my daughter regardless. I will always love her, and do the things for her and her son because I always been there for her, and I ain't gonna never stop being her, without her.
But you brought up the possibility of the other man to her, didn't you?
Yes, I did. I told her, I said, if I ain't your dad, I said, well, you might well go down there and then check him out and you see for yourself. So she took it on her own to go down there and check it out.
Did you know back in the day that Doris might have been with that other guy?
No, I didn't. No, Maury, I sure didn't.
Are you upset at Doris for telling Parisha all of a sudden that you weren't the father?
Yeah, well, why wait 31 years old and tell her that I'm not her father? Yeah, I was upset. And then I said, well, I want to find out the real results. But then, like I said, for me...
Why did you wait 10 years to be in her life?
Because I'm like any other man. I goes out and play whatever, and then at 10 years old, you put Parisha on my daughter, my sister, and Paris stayed with my sister while you did your
was
thing.
A baby, and she watched
at 10
her
years old,
yes,
she was a baby. At 10 years old, I would pick her up and she would go to my sister.
I think we can all agree on one thing, and that is everybody wants the same result from this envelope, right?
Right.
Yes.
Okay, here we go. In the case of 31-year-old Parisha, James, you are the father.
I'm happy. So, hey, it's all good. It's all good. It's all good. But if he wasn't the father, at least I had the opportunity.
Do you regret telling Parisha that?
No.
She should have took it to the grave, like her sister said.
See, that's what she thinks. She wants to think for me. And I keep telling her, you can't think for me.
Doris, the right man is her father, all right?
And that's great.
Okay.
That's great. That's great.
We'll be back right after this. You are not the father.